Joro's true form has been exposed, and the battle between the strongest espers continues. Deep underground, Psychos is chilling, sipping on red wine. That was just a dragon-level meat puppet, she thinks. I can make as many of those as I want. The true ruler always hides in the shadows. She thought everything was under control, but Psychos didn't expect Tatsumaki to track her down through the leftover eyes of Joro. Boom! A blast of psychic energy pierces straight through the earth. Psychos gets hit, her whole body goes numb, and she can't help but curse. Are all the dragon-level executives dead or what? Oh right, there's still Rover. If I just let him off the leash, he'll definitely come running. She releases her psychic power to the max. Unfortunately for her, Rover is busy hunting down the trio of Fubuki, Bang, and Bomb, so he couldn't care less. Rewind a few minutes. Fubuki's group runs into monster Princess Duess on the way. Having been humiliated by Fubuki before, Duess is determined to get payback with interest. But this time, she uses hostages to force Fubuki to surrender. Bang narrows his eyes and suddenly dashes forward. In a mere 2.5 seconds, Duess is subdued. Phew, who knew this old man was so OP? Fubuki stomps on her face and brags, this is the power of the Fubuki group after recruiting new members. Scared yet? Not even caring if Bang agreed or not, Duess realizes she's cornered and immediately surrenders, begging to join the Fubuki group. Fubuki isn't one to trust a monster easily, so she takes the whip Duess used to control others to ensure absolute obedience. After 3 hours of discipline, Duess is completely broken. Bang wants to know Garou's location, so Fubuki gives her another lash. Duess pretends to be controlled and points them in the wrong direction. They arrive at a dark room. Duess uses her tongue to grab a whistle and blows it hard. Bang realizes something's up and snatches it away, but it's too late. A loud roar echoes. That whistle was a dog whistle, and Duess has summoned Rover. Suddenly, a heat blast is fired. The group struggles to defend and deflect it. The crater created by the heat blast opens a path to a tunnel. Bang tells the captives to run for it. The three of them stay behind to block the path. A series of explosions causes the underground to shake violently, and these tremors also cause the imprisoned Garou to gradually wake up. On this side, Rover's relentless and brutal attacks force the trio to give it their all. With this kind of combat power, he's definitely one of the Monster Association's top dogs. Fubuki regrets acting alone. Suddenly, the attacks from outside stop. Boom! The wall next to them is smashed open. It's Rover. They're screwed. This heat blast is fired point blank at their faces. The three can only barely put up a defense. The massive explosion completely seals off the already crumbling building. In the rubble, a huge rock is sliced in half by a whirlwind. Bang and Bomb walk out without a scratch. The one who protected them was Fubuki, but she has reached her limit because of it. A giant paw descends, and terrifying energy gathers in Rover's mouth. Fubuki looks ahead helplessly. This time, there's really no escape. A thought flashes through her mind, her useless squad. She absolutely cannot let her comrades get hurt again, even if it means sacrificing her own life. Fubuki tells Bang and Bomb to run, saying she'll block the attack. The two buff old men look confused. The heat blast is fired. Fubuki pushes the two aside and rushes forward to take the hit alone, but in the next moment, Bang gently deflects the attack to the side. What are you trying to show off for, big bro? Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist combined with Whirlwind Iron Cutting Fist. Attacks rain down like a storm. Fubuki stares in disbelief as Rover is beaten so bad he can't even fight back under the duo's combo move. One kick sends Rover flying into the wall. Game over. Fubuki breaks out in a cold sweat, suddenly feeling a bit stupid. Even though she heard Silver Fawn was strong, this seems a bit too broken. And the ordinary old man next to him is just as tanky? No way, she must recruit them. Fubuki immediately starts simping. Remembering how Dr. Casino bought Saitama with just a box of premium beef, Fubuki tells herself, if you join the Fubuki group now, you get 3 kilograms of special Wagyu beef instantly. She thinks to herself, this will definitely work. Suddenly, Rover wakes up again. Everyone is terrified. Bang is helpless. Can't you just stay down? A thought flashes through Rover's mind. Remembering that earth-shattering punch, the dog is shook to its core. Meanwhile, Puri prisoner, on his way to hunt down Nyan, bursts through a wall. Suddenly, he sees a chained man nearby. Seeing that he's not bad-looking, Puri immediately thinks about adding him to his harem. Getting closer, he realizes it's the hero hunter who's currently wanted. Before he can react, the man in front of him starts struggling violently. The chains snap. Garou rushes at Puri. In a split second, he throws a few punches, blood spraying like a rocket. Puri crashes to the ground and realizes he can't get up. Even though he activated his bristle armor for defense immediately, he still took heavy damage. Garou looks up at the sky and roars. Puri finally realizes what kind of dangerous monster he has awakened. It's a completely one-sided slaughter. Puri smashes through walls, flying who knows how far. At this moment, 2 large, manly feet step forward. It's Super Alloy Darkshine. The spring-loaded bird is saved. Puri tells Darkshine not to underestimate this teenage brat. Darkshine nods, then let me end this battle. Garou roars and rushes in, raining down countless punches. Darkshine stands immovable as a mountain, ignoring the attacks. A burst of power suddenly explodes from his body. Garou is knocked back. Before he can stand up, Darkshine tackles him like a bull. The wall shatters. No matter how fast Garou is, his attacks are too weak and have absolutely no effect. Garou vanishes, his whole body turning into a blur of constant movement. Darkshine stands still. The next moment, countless attacks flood in. A critical punch lands. Garou takes heavy damage and coughs up a mouthful of fresh blood, but this hit also snaps him out of his unconscious berserk state. Looking at Darkshine in front of him, Garou realizes the situation. I'm awake now, so it's time to end this battle. Garou taunts the black dude. Darkshine gets furious and attacks. Garou dodges a heavy punch and kicks him in the stomach, followed by a powerful roundhouse kick. Darkshine's eyes widen, not understanding why his opponent has such explosive power. Boom! He bounces up from the ground. With power this broken, if you turned over a new leaf, you could probably become an excellent hero. Hearing this, Garou feels disgusted. Does everyone think like that? You should all just die. Seeing his offer rejected, Darkshine stops holding back. The muscles all over his body expand and contract like crazy. Terrifying power explodes in an instant. There's absolutely no time to dodge. Garou realizes that no matter what trick he uses, he absolutely cannot block this attack. His rib cage shatters. The massive impact force sends Garou flying who knows how far. The residual shockwave turns the surrounding walls into fine dust. In the rubble, he lies paralyzed, looking lifeless. Suddenly, countless rock fragments shoot towards Darkshine. Garou reappears. Darkshine braces for defense, thinking this is just a final counterattack before death, planning to finish him off once he runs out of breath. But he feels Garou's movements seem to be getting slower. No, that's not it. That attack is surging like a raging wave, showing absolutely no sign of stopping. Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist and Whirlwind Iron Cutting Fist combine. Garou unleashes the Crossfang Dragon Slayer Fist, a move only Bang and Bomb can use together. What kind of genius is this? At this moment, the thought I'm screwed flashes through Darkshine's mind. Impossible. Don't get cocky too soon. Ultimate move, Super Alloy Bazooka. Two punches collide, and even the space around them almost shakes. Despite the difference in size and strength, the scene of Garou being crushed into meat paste doesn't happen. The clothes on Darkshine's arm turn to dust. He stares in disbelief at the body in front of him. Seriously, what the hell happened? How is Super Alloy Darkshine only rank 11? The power he's shown is way beyond that title. Dude has never lost a fight, practically stomping everyone to secure the W. Killing a demon-level monster is supposed to be the S-class benchmark, but Bug God, who went into his second form and hit peak demon level, got one-shot by Darkshine. Even Garou, with his insane dragon-level power, almost got deleted by a single punch. Besides his terrifying strength, the guy has a bizarrely OP talent. Kid Darkshine was frail as heck, failing at every sport and game he tried. His teenage years were basically spent drowning in insecurity and shyness. Until he turned 16 and begged his parents for a 3 kilograms dumbbell to start training. Time passed, and the weight kept increasing. A few years later, he was one-arming 50 kilograms. Still somewhat reasonable, right? But then things got weird. 50 kilograms turned into 200 kilograms, then 500 kilograms, then 1 ton, 2 tons. A few years later, the weight became uncountable. His body completely shattered biological limits. Darkshine gained absolute confidence from flawless victories, and that confidence made him undefeated. So he went bald like Saitama, right? Wrong. Darkshine couldn't break his limiter like Saitama because of a fatal flaw. He lacks the resolve to put his life on the line. The man standing before him now instilled an indescribable fear. Clearly, Darkshine's strength far surpassed his opponent's. Clearly, that punch had pulverized the guy's entire ribcage. So why could he still stand up? Why was he getting stronger? It made zero sense because up until now, all of Darkshine's wins had been total domination. Darkshine desperately wanted an opponent who could make him go all out. Was he thirsty for battle? Nope, not really. He had twisted the desire for a happy victory into the pursuit of fighting. The moment an opponent went beyond his control, the deep-seated insecurity and fear would come rushing back. But Saitama is built different. Even as a normal human, he fought to the death against monsters infinitely stronger than him. Whether saving that kid or saving King, Saitama must have gone through countless asymmetrical battles. He's the one truly thirsty for combat, craving fights with those stronger than him. That's why, after being undefeated, when the Subterranean King appeared, the danger and tension didn't scare him, it gave him an unparalleled rush from the bottom of his heart. Garou's growth path is the same, which is why he's also qualified to break his limiter. In contrast, when Darkshine faced real danger, fear alone completely broke him. He became like a frantic child, swinging his fists wildly. Garou sent him underground with a kick, shattering his spirit. Darkshine let out a horrifying scream. In that scene, Garou seemed to see his own familiar past of being bullied. With a scoff, he stopped. He uppercut kicked the disoriented Darkshine, a pathetic sight that made it look like he was the one bullying Darkshine. Garou despised this kind of victory. Suddenly, he knelt on the ground, countless black spots on his back spreading across his face. The limiter was breaking, evolution was beginning. Darkshine was about to check on him when a green light instantly enveloped him. The ground collapsed on a massive scale. Darkshine screamed in panic, telling Garou to run, but it seemed useless. A massive sense of helplessness washed over Darkshine, leaving him completely autistic. Elsewhere, the real battle had begun. S-Class rank 10 pig god, who devours everything. His body is a mountain of meat, looking fat and ugly, but inside, he's kind and gentle. Post-weight loss, he's actually a total Chad. His body seems to store a terrifying power capable of dealing with god-level disasters. He needs to eat 100 people's worth of food daily. Thanks to years of eating all sorts of flora and fauna, he's developed poison resistance, even eating live monsters doesn't affect him. That magical layer of fat not only tanks all attacks but also stores energy for self-healing and regeneration. Pig God went deep underground alone. The monsters that planned to swarm and devour the heroes? Well, the tables turned, they became his snacks. Mommy, what is this? Accompanied by a blood-curdling scream, the last monster was finally swallowed. Just then, a disgusting leg appeared behind Pig God. Boom! He was completely swallowed. The giant lump of meat in front of him was the dragon-level big boss, Gums. Pig God struggled wildly inside him. The intense pain forced Gums to spit him out. Pig God narrowed his eyes and charged straight at him. But since Gums was specifically used by psychos to counter Pig God, the result was obvious. S-Class rank 10 suffered a crushing defeat and was about to die in the monster's mouth. Meanwhile, Atomic Samurai's 3 top A-class disciples ran into another dragon-level big boss, Evil Natural Water. Since the opponent was immune to physical attacks, they were completely overwhelmed. Child Emperor arrived to check on Ian and told him to leave, but it was too late. A water jet shot out. Child Emperor barely dodged. Looking at the slime pile in front of him, he felt a bit of disdain. This power wasn't even on par with Phoenix Man, whom he had just defeated. It felt totally unworthy of the dragon-level title. Evil Natural Water fired off a few water dragons. Child Emperor kept dodging. Suddenly, piranhas jumped out of the water, their breath capable of biting through steel. Child Emperor realized these fish weren't controlled by the monster's energy, it was just a weird symbiotic relationship. And judging by the smooth round holes carved into the ground, the seemingly weak water jet was the actual fatal attack to watch out for. Countering this, Child Emperor quickly assembled a mechanical snowman that spewed ultra-low temperature cold air, freezing Evil Natural Water. Seems the guy couldn't regulate his body temperature. Keep this up, and the battle would end soon. However, right at that moment, the tiger-level sludge jellyfish, who had been brutally beaten by Child Emperor earlier, ran over to avenge the failing Evil Natural Water. He sucked in dry not the water, but the oil in his body. Oil's freezing point is lower than water's, making it harder to freeze. After the two merged, Child Emperor's freezing attack became useless. His mechanical snowman was destroyed after the fight with Phoenix Man, and he was thrown in here. Now, he had 0 capital left to fight the opponent. S-Class rank 5 Child Emperor, defeated. The moment he appeared, an infinite barrage of energy orbs rained down, swallowing Zombie Man in an explosion. Zombie Man got deleted instantly. This is the terror of the dragon-level Chad, Homeless Emperor. He honestly doesn't give a damn about these so-called S-Class heroes. From the smoke, Zombie Man respawned and rushed in with his axe. Homeless Emperor gave a warning, then literally pointed a finger and blew Zombie Man's head off. Watching his opponent's head and arms explode, he didn't stop spamming attacks, firing another energy orb. Suddenly, a bullet came flying in, but Homeless Emperor buffed his defense and intercepted it. Zombie Man didn't expect a point-blank shot to get blocked. That was his hidden tech, his final trump card, and it failed. So what if he has immortality? Homeless Emperor is God's favorite child, his mana pool is literally infinite. Zombie Man's weak physical stats are his only nerf, and there's no way Homeless Emperor didn't notice that. S-Class rank 8 Zombie Man takes the L. On another front, My Mask, Sweet Mask, is stomping the Monster Association underground with a flawless K/D ratio. Even though he's technically A-Class rank 1, he's had S-Class potential for ages. His whole purpose is to gatekeep unworthy scrubs from entering S-Class. Going deeper, giant cultivation tanks appeared, containing Orochi cells that turn people into monsters. Seeing this, My Mask destroyed them. But just as he was about to dip, a silhouette appeared. Upon seeing the enemy's face, My Mask suddenly froze.exe and retreated to defend. The guy who pulled up was the dragon-level boss, Führer Ugly. My Mask has a fatal flaw, he gets shook and can't move when he sees anything extremely ugly. There's a type of monster that's hideously ugly, where their power scales with their ugliness, and this dragon-level Führer Ugly is basically maxed out on the ugly stat. So, my mask got absolutely cooked. Meanwhile, the One Punch Man, the most OP bald guy in the solar system who one-shot the Monster King, has gone missing. Guess where he is? Yep, bro is lost. Casually slapping away some random monster, Saitama keeps walking. He doesn't know that Flashy Flash is camping behind a wall, mistaking him for a monster and preparing to gank him while he's distracted. Free kill. Die. I'm claiming this bald head. Swish swish. Two sounds, and Saitama casually tilts his head to dodge. Wait, he dodged everything? Flashy Flash started sweating bullets. Hold up, something ain't right. This bald weirdo looks like Genos' sidekick. But how does he have those reaction times? RNG luck? If not, then he read all my moves. No, impossible. What is this menacing pressure? Damn it, Flashy Flash went full try-hard mode again, clamping his fingers on the blade to attack. That proves you're a monster too. Die. Just as Saitama was about to counter, Flashy Flash saw his ancestors for a split second, so he quickly told the bald guy to look closely. Saitama racked his brain. Are you that monster? Forelocks in the face? You bastard, don't make up names. Flashy Flash explained his S-class status and claimed the attack was just a misclick, slipped hand. He couldn't understand why a low elo hero would dare to run into the Monster Association HQ. Clearly, Flashy Flash still hasn't realized the skill gap between him and Saitama. He planned to use the final boss Orochi to scare the bald guy away, but surprisingly, Saitama got even more interested. He patted Flashy Flash on the shoulder, ready to follow this long-haired dude to find Orochi. Flashy Flash got salty. You wanna tag along? Let's see if you can even keep up. Eat my dust. Suddenly, a voice came from behind. Bruh, caught up again. Flashy Flash thought he was lagging or hallucinating. His speed is supposed to be the peak of humanity. They ran for who knows how long until Saitama noticed a familiar monster corpse and said, I think we've walked past this lane before. Flashy Flash ignored him. Saitama got up close and asked, You're lost, aren't you? Hearing this, Flashy Flash's face went dark mode. And so, the two directionally challenged legends walked in circles dozens of times. Finally, Saitama couldn't take it anymore. This guy clearly had zero map awareness but kept acting cool. Realizing he was about to get exposed, Flashy Flash decided to catch a small monster to ask for directions. Saitama asked why he didn't just DM the other heroes. Flashy Flash almost leaked that he lost his comms device, but immediately switched up. I don't need a babysitter. They kept looping around until Saitama lost all patience. Instead of this nonsense, might as well knocklip through the walls. In an underground toilet of the Monster Association, a small one-eyed monster had been hiding in there taking a dump for over 10 hours to avoid the S-class heroes. Suddenly, the toilet exploded, and a shiny bald head appeared. Outside, another small monster who needed to poop got yeeted straight to the poop dimension. Hey you, I'll give you 30 seconds. Finish your business and take us to your boss. The squad hopped on a minecart and zoomed off. Didn't know they had this under my house. Saitama was happy as a 5-year-old kid. Then, a huge drop appeared ahead. The one-eyed monster screamed in terror, while Saitama screamed in excitement. Flashy Flash couldn't handle it and told him to shut up. What the hell? Do you think the Monster Association HQ is a theme park or something? Seeing the track ahead, the one-eyed monster hatched a devious plan. He wanted to kamikaze with these guys. Taking out S-class heroes would count as a W for him. However, looking at the drop height, he noped out. Never mind, waiting for the next patch. At this moment, Flashy Flash realized this was a massive gold mine. So that's how it is, the Monster Association uses this illegal funding for their operations. Unexpectedly, Saitama saw the gold and his eyes literally started glowing. Ahead, countless mining monsters attacked. The two heroes attacked together, wiping the floor with them in a split second. The one-eyed monster yelled, "Fight's over, retreat." Flashy Flash couldn't help but be shocked by the bald guy's power level. Suddenly, a giant claw grabbed Saitama's cape, holding him back. Bad RNG, it was a dead end ahead. It's over, we're cooked. The one-eyed monster was in total despair. Flashy Flash locked in, grabbed the small monster, and vanished instantly. Hundreds of sword slashes flew out. Boom! The giant monster exploded, thanks to Saitama. In his mouth, he was clenching 2 huge bags of gold. Huge loot drop this time. The squad sat on the minecart as it launched out. However, the one-eyed monster accidentally fell off. To save the navigator, Saitama instinctively opened his mouth, and both bags of gold fell into the abyss. Money gone, but life saved. Some people are just destined to stay broke forever. Deep underground, Psycho's lobby was finally discovered by Tatsumaki. Under the enemy's swirling psychic pressure, she was gatekept to the point of being unable to move. Rover was pinned down and couldn't provide any backup. Psychos was forced to chug a Red Bull superpower potion. The second she finished the drink, a terrifying spiritual energy exploded inside her body. In a split second, her disaster level hit its peak. Before her dragon level threat could even start flexing, Tatsumaki pointed down, and Psycho's feet slowly left the ground. At an altitude of thousands of meters, Tatsumaki wanted to straight up drag her to the surface. Psycho's was in total disbelief. Suddenly, a psychic ring swirled around her. No matter how much her power spiked, in Tatsumaki's eyes, she was still just a mid-weakling. A giga-sized surge of power hit her, and Psycho's involuntarily launched toward the surface. Who do you think you are, trying to control me? Psycho's psychic energy exploded, checking the bar back and forth with Tatsumaki. Under the effect of their psychic stats, the two collided at a terrifying speed. Boom. A psychic storm swept through the entire underground. The small fry mobs nearby were absolutely shook, souls leaving their bodies. Compared to Psycho's unhinged crash-out energy, Tatsumaki stayed chill, clearly not even using her full power yet. The reason she was holding back was that intel confirmed there was still a hostage who hadn't been rescued. Meanwhile, King was staring at Terrio without yapping a single word. Previously, he'd accidentally shook a monster pretending to be a hostage to death, and now this guy dared to act innocent in front of him? Under the buff of the King engine, the monster lurking behind Terrio also got terrified to the point of leaking. A dragon-level legend couldn't even see through his disguise, yet King ratioed him with just one look. It's over, he's got hacks, abort mission. But as soon as he tried to run away, something slimy suddenly crawled out of the shadows. A pool of blood swallowed him whole. This was Orochi, the one who got folded by Saitama earlier. He's currently farming flesh and blood to respawn his body. Right now, Orochi's meat chunks have stretched across the entire Monster Association basement. The power of mid-tier monsters couldn't satisfy him, he needed high-tier blood. And the two girls fighting above were the premium choice. Psycho's fired her full psychic load from her eyes, but Tatsumaki used just one hand to deflect all the shockwaves, deleting the surrounding walls. She clenched her fist. Psycho's throat was suddenly attacked, stopping her in her tracks. Her whole body turned into a sacrificial goat waiting to be minced. Was it a fail? No. Deep in the darkness, Psycho suddenly sensed a familiar energy between the buildings. Countless laser beams fired toward Tatsumaki, heat breath exploded, and Psycho's loose psychic energy dove straight into the ground. You're actually still alive. As long as she could merge with Orochi, the massive potential hidden in that body would definitely make her break her limits. Come to me, my son. Deep underground, a massive pile of meat and blood began to converge. A moment later, a giga-sized monster slowly revealed itself. Tatsumaki was busy clearing out the surrounding mobs and tried to gatekeep Psychos, but it was already too late. The slimy flesh and blood began to slowly merge into her. But suddenly, Psychos realized the vibes were off. This wasn't a merge, it was a devouring. This bastard had been hiding his real power the whole time, and her spiritual energy was being invaded. Psychos fell into despair at the edge of life and death, and her psychic energy suddenly glitched and transformed. At this exact moment, a peerless body and peak psychic energy perfectly fused into a new level. The demigod disaster Psychoorochi has officially spawned. Tatsumaki sees the threat and fires an energy blast, but the attack has zero armor penetration and can't even dent the enemy's defense. Psychoorochi glares at Tatsumaki, and a giga-sized black spear stabs upward. Tatsumaki's face goes pale as her body gets hardlocked and unable to move, while a weird glowing creature dashes toward her. Psychoorochi starts playing with the captured Tatsumaki, invading her defensive shield to the point where it can't be toggled off. Psychoorochi keeps pumping energy into the shield, putting massive pressure on her system. The terrifying pressure makes Tatsumaki bleed from all 7 orifices. Total low HP vibes. It's GG. Now I'll slowly enjoy this premium blood. Psychoorochi yaps. In another corner of the lobby, Saitama is carrying the little one-eyed monster and running like a maniac. The wave of flesh and blood behind them is swallowing everything without discrimination. Orochi's meat is so overwhelming that even the one-eyed kid almost gets dragged into the abyss. Saitama gets tagged too, but with that bald head of his, that's the one no-go zone. Touch it and you're finished. One punch, and a giga explosion sweeps the entire Monster Association. The sudden deletion of a massive amount of cells glitches Psychoorochi, forcing her to unbind Tatsumaki. At that exact moment, Tatsumaki receives a DM from King. The hostage is safe. Since the escort mission is over, she can finally go full crash out without worrying about anything. Thanks to Saitama's accidental punch, Tatsumaki escaped a dire situation. After confirming everyone has safely evacuated except for Flashy Flash and Zombie Man, who didn't bring their comms, so she doesn't care, she releases her full power. The ground starts shaking violently. Saitama's small apartment is literally cracked into countless terrifying chasms. An unknown giga-object is suddenly uprooted from the ground. Tatsumaki literally drags the entire Monster Association up from 500m underground. A psychic wave fires forward, and after the explosion, a glowing monster appears. This is the final form Psychos, now rocking demigod stats. The entire Monster Association serves as a battery for her, so Tatsumaki has to cut the power at the source. Psychoorochi doesn't even care about this big brain move because her power level is now unbelievable. The Doomsday Divine Cannon fires, and a beam of destruction hundreds of meters wide sweeps forward. Every obstacle in its path is swallowed in a split second. The Earth's surface literally gets a haircut. The entire ocean looks unchanged on top, but underneath, it's been turned into a void. Seawater starts pouring down. Even Tatsumaki isn't shocked yet, thinking it doesn't make sense. You can't get this level of cracked power just by merging a few monsters. Just as she suspected, no matter how much you merge, a creature's life level shouldn't change that much. It's all because a mythic entity chose Psychos and gifted her this peerless buff, and now, God Psychos, the one standing above all living things, is starting to have even bigger main character ambitions. She wants to farm all the flesh and blood on Earth, turn into a planet-level organism, and become the new Earth herself, a fool lost in the sauce of power. Tatsumaki remarks with pure contempt. This ratio makes Psychoorochi so tilted she turns purple with rage. Tens of thousands of hideous dragons spawn from the bottom of her body. Their heat breath is strong enough to burn everything to a crisp as they spray fire forward. Tatsumaki matrix dodges just in time, if you can't see. Your own mid-tier self. Let me show you what real power looks like. The distant ocean suddenly starts churning violently, an unknown giga-object seems to want to spawn from within. Soon after, everyone is shook to see the sea split in two, mountain-sized boulders, under Tatsumaki's hacks, all stab forward at once. Psychoorochi goes full send with her beam of destruction to block the attack, a series of explosions echo through the sky. Finally, a giga-boulder pierces the defense, forcing Psychoorochi to use her body to slice it in half, but at that exact moment, more rock fragments dash in, and terrifying energy starts to converge like crazy. Boom! The surrounding rock blocks explode. Of course, that's not the end. The psychic energy between the two of them begins to fuse, and the destruction waves feel like Judgment Day is loading. Psychoorochi stares at her opponent hiding among the rocks and activates her dragon aura at alter speed. Godspeed. A violent explosion echoes. Did I land the hit? No, wait, she vanished. Without anyone noticing, Tatsumaki has already infiltrated inside Psychoorochi's body. If the outside armor is too tanky, just go full infiltrator and attack the squishy internals. In a split second, a terrifying psychic crunch exploded. Psychoorochi was crushed into bone dust as a literal rain of blood flooded the sky, but just when the W was secured, a massive system error occurred. A pitch-black sphere designed to mute psychic stats pierced right through Tatsumaki's palm. Psychoorochi, who was just minced into meat scraps, started respawning as billions of volts of electricity fired out. Tatsumaki took critical damage and lost consciousness, as the death screen approached. Psychoorochi's body cracked open. Inside that hideous mouth, a beam of destruction capable of deleting all matter began to load. Was it game over? Nope, a blue beam of light shot up from the underground. Who is it? Genos, the boy got a patch update, transforming into a blue dragon to provide backup. Terrifying energy started converging between his palms like a pro player prep. A thunderbolt cannon that pierced the heavens blasted into Psychoorochi, who was also spraying a wave of destruction. The energy clash swept across the server. Genos couldn't win the trade and got pushed back. 10 hideous dragons sprayed heat breath everywhere. Lightning sparked in all directions as the blue dragon spat out countless lightning bolts from its mouth. Psychoorochi's stats are seriously too cracked. Genos had to go full send just to parry and deflect that last attack. He's down to his ultimate, but he only has a 10-second window to decide the match. On the other side, Psychoorochi has gone full crash out, her body mutating into something unbelievable. A beam of destruction hundreds of meters wide fired from her mouth with berserk power. Tatsumaki's body was hard-locked, making it impossible to dodge, right before the hit landed. Genos spawned in front of her, releasing all limits. He fired the spiral incineration cannon, mixing rock debris with chaotic energy and lightning compressed to the limit before exploding. The two energy beams clashed, creating a light of destruction that griefed the entire sky. But can this actually ratio Psychoorochi? The blinding light was almost too much as Genos screamed, "Hurry up!" Tatsumaki utilized these few seconds to teleport all the remaining heroes out of the Monster Association safely. This was one of Genos' main objectives, but to block the enemy's attack, he had already reached his thermal limit. Just as the destruction cannon was about to swallow them both, that terrifying attack suddenly stopped. Tatsumaki had returned to the lobby. Luckily, thanks to Genos buying time, she was able to recover her HP. Now it's my turn to counterattack. What did you just say you wanted to do to my sister? At this moment, even the NPCs on the ground felt the terrifying destruction from 10,000 meters up. Tatsumaki crossed her arms and gave a slight flick. The Hero Association was shook to discover that all of Z City was being distorted. Whether it was the ground or the ocean, everything turned into a weird spiral shape, and at the center of the ratio was Psychos. Miserable screams echoed through the server. Countless gallons of fresh red blood sprayed out from the Monster Association. Tatsumaki treated her opponent like a wet rag, straight up wringing her dry. Now that you're out of flesh and blood, let's see how you respawn. At this rate, it would only take a bit more time before Psychoorochi slept with the carps, died. However, right then, Tatsumaki started bleeding from all 7 orifices. The backlash from overusing her psychic hack suddenly hit her system. In the distance, Psychoorochi rose from the dead, turning her entire body into a meat fighter jet. As long as she has enough flesh to keep farming and devouring, she can get stronger and come back for revenge. The fighter jet turned into a pixel of light and vanished into the sky. Does the battle end just like that? Tatsumaki, the S-Class Rank 2 hero, has psychic power so OP she's basically unbeatable below God tier. To her, everyone is a bug. With a flick of her wrist, she makes meteors fall. A Giga-tier monster gets crushed into minced meat in a split second. Even the ruins under her control turn into weapons that delete the sky, all while rocking that lowly style. It makes Saitama see her as just a brat. But who would have thought that such a cracked existence had an absolutely tragic back story? 18 years ago, a giga-catastrophic incident suddenly glitched a secret lab. Everyone started running away but left a young Tatsumaki behind. She was just a test subject back then. This cold and hopeless vibe made her want to hit the uninstall button on life. Just when the doors were breached and Tatsumaki thought she was officially deleted, a voice spawned from the outside. This was her first encounter with Blast, the S-Class Rank 1 GOAT. The man claimed he was just a hero for fun, then dropped a follow-up question: why aren't you using your full power? The girl sadly lied, saying she couldn't do it, but the log showed that was a total cap. Blast pointed out she was intentionally nerfing her own stats just to get abandoned. At that moment, all the trauma stored in Tatsumaki's system completely crashed out. Even if she escaped, who would give a damn? Her own parents had sold her into this DLC of hell. Blast patted her head and told her not to surrender to the game. Your sister is waiting for your return. Go protect your family. Finally, he left her with the ultimate deep lore. Why do I have such cracked power? In critical moments, don't expect anyone to spawn in and save you, you are your own carry. At this exact moment, the Psychic Queen finally woke up and toggled a wide-range shield that covered the entire city server. Suddenly, another player appeared. S-Class Rank 9, Drive Knight, arrived to provide backup. 2 fighter jet builds kept circling the sky, dropping bombs like a lobby full of griefers. Meanwhile, Sweet Mask, who had just been rescued, felt neck-diffed and humiliated because he got folded by that ugly tier monster, especially when he saw the other heroes checking the VAR on him. He even thought asking Tatsumaki for a carry was a coward move. To protect his ego, Sweet Mask was actually ready to delete all of them. It wasn't until Ion's care triggered a familiar flashback in his head that he finally stopped lagging and regained his sanity. He walked over to Super Alloy Darkshine and launched a shadowless kick to wake him up. The trauma that Garou inflicted had turned Darkshine into a total introvert. 2KY, looking at this ugly stat idiot, Sweet Mask got tilted and started flaming him. Luckily, the whole hero squad detoxified his brain, and Darkshine finally found his confidence. Again, just like that, the high-tier combat force is back in the lobby. This great war should finally hit the in-game screen here. The chase between Drive Knight and Psychoorochi continues. Even with Tatsumaki as the main carry, the enemy's meta keeps shifting, making it impossible to finish her instantly. Genos rushes in to assist, and the two of them simultaneously uncap their attack limits, releasing a max output blast from long range. They thought this hit was GG, but no, Psychoorochi's body suddenly triggered a massive power-up. The two were yeeted back by the counterblast. Drive Knight told Genos his mana was low and suggested a big brain idea. Let's merge, combining their reactors to amplify the signal to the max. Now there is no other way but to take a gamble, saying is doing. In the flashing light, a giant mechanical body swung a sword towards Psychoorochi. This is the tactical merger form of the two people. Below, seeing Psychoorochi stop moving, the S-Class heroes started to counterattack. Tank Top Master threw a building directly into the air. Psychoorochi turned and fired the destruction cannon. Suddenly the building shattered to reveal Atomic Samurai and Puri Puri Prisoner inside. Tens of thousands of sword auras tore through the sky. Puri Puri Prisoner grew extra wings and unleashed his strongest move, the vibrating Dark Angel. Immediately after that, a giant black shadow rushed out. Super Alloy Darkshine unleashed the Super Alloy missile. One strike caused Psychoorochi's body to almost turn into a pile of minced meat. When everyone was not paying attention, he abandoned the body and quickly ran away. Bang and Bomb spawn in and unleashed their whirlwind iron cutting fist. Is it a W already? No, it's not over. A familiar voice echoes from the sky, and Tatsumaki slams both hands down, making the ground collapse. Immediately after, a giga-sized stone pillar thousands of meters wide is uprooted and floats in the sky like a legendary spear about to pierce the planet. Bye-bye. To save Monako, Saitama painfully eats his 2 bags of gold and becomes broke once again. Originally, the two of them were being guided by Monako straight to the Monster King, but Tatsumaki uprooted the entire monster association from the underground, so the rest of them got buried alive. The path is gone, so Monako is basically useless now. Monako is already imagining getting one-tapped by the bald guy. He originally planned to sneak away but fell to Suez, so he decided to try and knock the bald guy out from behind first. Who would have thought that under a moved rock, there was a human head? Monako was so shook he almost flew into the sky, his eye glowing from pure terror. Seeing that Monako has a backup flashlight feature, the two of them finally acknowledge his value. Staring at Flashy Flash with only his head sticking out, Saitama is curious why he doesn't just leave. Flashy Flash yaps vaguely that he's stuck in a picky spot and moving randomly might break something. Now they can only clear the surrounding rocks to get him out. Saitama asks Monako for a light, but then he and Flashy Flash get blinded to the point they can't even open their eyes. So Monako uses Saitama's bald head for indirect lighting, which almost gets him deleted. Clearly, Saitama is trash at Jenga. He drops one piece, then another. At this rate, he might wreck the entire cave. Having no other choice, Saitama has to ask Monako for help. Surprisingly, he does a great job, and the two of them praise Monako, saying good job, baby. Hearing them call him such weird names, Monako finally reveals his actual name after all. He's got a proper name and isn't just some no-name mob. He casually asks Saitama what kind of hero he is. Saitama stutters, and says Caped Baldy. Flashy Flash is shook to his core, laughing and roasting him. What kind of trash name is that? After hearing that, Saitama casually buries his head back in the dirt. After clearing for a bit, Monako and Saitama both feel hungry, while only Flashy Flash stays on his grind set urging them to work. Monako tightens his belt, and Saitama has no clue what he's doing. He explains that doing this stops the hunger pangs. Saitama is skeptical at first until he's so hungry he can't stand it. So he tries it out and no cap, it actually works. One human and one monster just keep clearing rocks while discussing what to eat when they get home. Meanwhile, outside, Tatsumaki uses the Monster Association as the center to pull a gigastone pillar thousands of meters wide from the underground, and this pull just happens to save Flashy Flash. Flashy Flash looks at the sword in his hand and his heart breaks. His beloved sword that stayed with him for years has officially logged out. Saitama swears, what the hell? He thought Flashy Flash was worried about breaking an arm, but turns out it was just for this trash sword. What a massive waste of time. Hearing that, Flashy Flash gets tilted. You bastard, are you seriously disrespecting the art of swordsmanship? Taking advantage of the two yapping, Monako tries to dip fast. Suddenly, he senses something is sus. They all look deep into the cave. Inside is a terrifying, giga-sized humanoid creature, but because it's too dark, they can't see the bar clearly. Flashy Flash tells Monako to give them some light. High beam mode fails. Monako switches to thermal mode, still nothing, then switches to X-ray mode, still a no. Finally, he drops his ultimate move, using Saitama's bald head for indirect lighting. The result, no matter how bright the light is, it can't pierce through. Suddenly, a weird voice echoes. Everyone is buffering, having no clue who's talking. The owner of this voice is actually God. God tells them to put their hands on the box to check if they have the cloud or not. Succeed and you get cracked power. Fail and you get a one-way ticket to meet your ancestors, right as they are arguing over what the hell this is. A black hole spawns behind them. S-Class rank 1 hero, Blast, officially spawns in. Seeing they didn't agree to the trade, he breathes a sigh of relief. Blast has always been hunting these black boxes to stop God's evil plan. Realizing the newcomer is the S-Class rank 1, Flashy Flash's hands get itchy and he straight up unleashes his strongest attack. But before he can even see the opponent's movement, he's already been neg-diffed by Blast. Looking at Monako nearby, Blast's killing intent is almost overflowing. Who would have thought Saitama is actually very satisfied with this flashlight/guide and has zero intentions of doing anything else? Blast sees this and lets out a helpless sigh. If that's the case, let's go. I'll lead you out of here first. Outside, Tatsumaki has launched a giant spear strong enough to pierce the sky. Under this one hit, the Monster King is completely turned into fine powder. Flashy Flash's sword is also permanently logged out underground. Before everyone can even celebrate the W, countless light beams suddenly fire from a distance. To save Child Emperor, Zombie Man pushes him away and takes all the hits himself, getting instantly blown into a pile of minced meat. And the one who did it is the Monster Association's dragon-level big bro, Homeless Emperor. Sweet Mask rushes up for revenge, but suddenly the ground breaks and several black hands grab him tight. Dragon-level executive Black Sperm steps up to block the way. Right after that, a disgusting head suddenly pops out. Sweet Mask starts screaming in terror because of his skill issue is fear of ugly things. Führer Ugly absolutely hates anyone with a handsome or upper face, since Sweet Mask fell into his hands. The outcome is obviously tragic. With one punch, Sweet Mask's head is caved in, but this still isn't enough to satisfy Führer Ugly's perverted desires. He grabs both his legs and uses his full strength to rip Sweet Mask directly in half. One loser down, Führer Ugly steps in front of Child Emperor. You're next. Just as he prepares a punch to delete him, Homeless Emperor screams at him to beat it. A light sphere tens of meters wide containing terrifying energy fires toward them, and Child Emperor is swallowed by the explosion. The shockwave of the attack rushes straight forward, leaving a hideous scar on the ground. But if we're talking attack power, Homeless Emperor almost outscales all the S-Class heroes present. Misfortune never comes alone. Before Iron and the others can provide backup, a pile of liquid sprays from the underground, dragon-level executive evil natural water. At the same time, a giant mouth spawns under Pig God and Tank Top Master's feet. Boom. Dragon-level Big Bro Gums takes a bite. The two luckily dodge but are shook. In another corner, Führer Ugly, who got blown away, crawls out of the ruins and flames Homeless Emperor. The Monster Association Big Bros gather up, planning to delete all the heroes. Countless energy orbs like a meteor shower go berserk in the sky. Tatsumaki is being chased and can only keep dodging. A series of am explosions break the cocoon. Homeless Emperor acts like an elegant conductor orchestrating this massacre. Blinding light tears through the night. All the attacks come down like a storm to end the performance. No, wait, the thing that got hit was just a decoy created by Tatsumaki. Even though she dodged the hit for now, consecutive battles have drained her energy. Tatsumaki has hit her limit. In another corner, Gums is trying his hardest to crunch Tank Top Master, but with Pig God by his side, he hasn't succeeded yet. Looking at the raging Gums, Führer Ugly big brains a cruel move. He casually grabs a group of people and bites their arms off. Looking at the man screaming in pain on the ground, the two get distracted for a split second. At that exact moment, Gums takes a bite out of Tank Top Master's torso. Pig God is about to rush to the rescue, but Führer Ugly straight up targets the hostages. Let's see what you choose this time. No, his movement suddenly stops. Tatsumaki squeezes out a bit more strength to block the way. Taking this chance, Tank Top Master is rescued. Pig God swallows the remaining hostages, and right after that, Tank Top Master yeets him out of the war zone to help them escape the danger zone. But this move makes Führer Ugly go full crash out. Tatsumaki is blown away, her head slamming into a cliff, and a fatality punch lands. Tank Top Master's arm is instantly crushed. It's not over. A storm of berserk punches rains down. Tank Top Master is beaten into minced meat, and Gum swallows him from a pool of blood. Next up is you, little sister. Führer Ugly steps in front of Tatsumaki, eyes full of creepy intent. Let me see what color underwear you're wearing. Right as Führer Ugly is about to successfully rip her underwear off, Bang suddenly spawns in with a kick that pierces through Gums to save Tank Top Master. At the same time, Genos plugs his mechanical arm into Gums' body and fires the incineration cannon. Scorching fire explodes directly from inside Gums' body. Führer Ugly tries to block Bang but gets hit by his own force thanks to the opponent's water stream rock smashing fist. Tank Top Master only has a weak heartbeat left and needs medical treatment ASAP. But how could Führer Ugly give them that chance? Licking his nose, he's determined to grind all these people into minced meat. However, against this type of melee physical attack, the water stream rock smashing fist with its soft counters hard trait is a total hard counter. Another punch missed, and he almost swore. Heavy punches rained down like a storm, pushing Führer Ugly back. Seeing this, Gums screamed that it was a prime opportunity, and now it was his turn for revenge. He straight up swallowed Führer Ugly whole. However, in the next moment, Gums was ripped apart from the inside. The highly corrosive Stomach acid completely melted Führer Ugly's skin. He was already ugly, but now even he would vomit looking at his own reflection. Führer Ugly's rage has officially hit the ceiling. On another side of the warzone, Atomic Samurai and Iron are squaring off against evil Natural Water, against this liquid-type monster. The two have zero counterplay. Furthermore, the water jets fired by evil Natural Water deal critical hit damage. Iron stared in disbelief at his shattered sword, not noticing 3 water jets already firing at him. Atomic Samurai screamed that it was too late as he finished. Boom, boom. 2 sounds echoed as Super Alloy Darkshine used his body to tank all the attacks. The water jet strong enough to pierce steel did absolutely zero damage to him. Afterward, Super Alloy Darkshine even treated evil Natural Water's attacks like a shower and felt totally refreshed. Thanks for the free high-pressure car wash, baby. Seeing that the trash tier Führer Ugly let the enemies escape, Black Sperm finally makes his move, his body splits, and a wall of human meat appears out of thin air, rushing toward Bang. Suddenly, a brilliant sword light tears through space as Atomic Samurai arrives for backup. Black Sperm looks down on the loser he beat before. In the next moment, his entire body is sliced into 1,000 pieces, but the head and tail remain connected without being severed. As long as he isn't completely cut, he can't instantly split. Next, I'll use the back of my blade to beat you to death. Black Sperm's weakness is exposed, and he's absolutely fuming. The actions of the other clones aren't going smoothly either. Tatsumaki squeezes out her last bit of life force to shield Genos, telling him to hurry up and take Tank Top Master for treatment. On the other side, it's even more trippy. Although the number of Black Sperm clones is infinite, their attack power is just not enough to break through. Heat swims through a sea of black sperm. The trauma Garou inflicted has totally vanished, and Super Alloy Darkshine has completely recovered his confidence. Seeing himself about to be ratioed, Black Sperm stops holding back and unleashes a black sperm tsunami to flatten everything. Right then, some clones try to merge, but the plan fails because they can't agree on the play. Suddenly, 2 streaks of sword Aura Slash in the Council of Swordmasters has spawned. These top-tier swordsmen are here to farm mobs. Black Sperm swears and tells the others to stop being useless and help him out. But Homeless Emperor is just sitting on his high horse, enjoying the infinite clout from flexing. Old Man Nichiren makes the first move, 1 slash and the ground literally cracks, sending countless black sperm clones into the abyss. Spring Mustachio's attacks rain down like a storm, freezing countless black sperm in place. Other members follow up with their own attacks, and in a split second, the table is turned. Thanks to everyone's try-hard defense, Genos finally brings Tank Top Master to Fubuki. Just as Fubuki starts the healing process, the ground behind them suddenly explodes. After the battle with Super Alloy Darkshine, Garou completely broke his limits, but he was buried deep under the Monster Association while mid-evolution. Now, after a literal baptism in blood, he finally returns from purgatory. His body is fully monsterized, and his power stats have hit an unimaginable level. Bomb screams to his brother that Garou has arrived. Atomic Samurai takes over the front line from Bang. This fated battle between master and student has to be settled by them. Come at me, my best student. The fated master-student duel is about to start. 43 trillion clones merge, and golden sperm spawns. Super Alloy Darkshine takes back-to-back LS and his mental completely collapses. Führer Ugly is looking absolutely hideous. Misfortune never comes alone as his body merges with Gum's high corrosive stomach acid. The Council of Swordmasters takes massive casualties. Garou's sudden spawn has broken the battlefield's balance. Bomb originally wanted Bang and Garou to have their fated duel, but Garou has lost his mind and attacks anyone on sight. Bomb is forced to join the fight, and since he's locked in, he's not holding back. Fubuki wants to help, but the two are moving so fast you can't even see their silhouettes. Suddenly, a fatality punch lands. Bomb tanks it, and Garou is yeeted away. Pig God runs up, huffing and puffing, because Bomb wasn't there to transfer energy to save the frozen Tank Top Master. His arrival perfectly fills the gap. On another part of the warzone, the black sperm tsunami gushes from the ground, and a giant merged body grabs Tatsumaki, planning to crush her. A heat cannon explodes, blowing off Black Sperm's arm. Another giant black sperm gets tilted and punches Genos from midair straight into the ground. Boom. Genos bounces back up, and he and Tatsumaki stand back-to-back to hold the line. Suddenly, a disgusting sour smell fills the air. Führer Ugly is going full crash out looking for whoever turned him into this mess. Watching the loser rage in vain, a bunch of black sperm clones keep roasting him. Führer Ugly spits a dragon spit glob directly at them. The sizzling sound of melting flesh echoes, and the black sperm clones hit by the spit are instantly dissolved. Super Alloy Darkshine takes the chance to launch a rocket vanish. Führer Ugly is in a critical spot. 2 fists collide even though their strength is similar. The corrosive acid melts right through Super Alloy Darkshine's skin. Immediately after, Führer Ugly spits another glob of spit directly onto the opponent's chest. Super Alloy Darkshine is rolling on the ground in pure agony. Members of the Council of Swordmasters step up to provide backup, but the second their blades touch Führer Ugly, they get dissolved. What's worse, a casual attack from the enemy sends one of them to meet their ancestors in an instant. Atomic Samurai and Old Man Nichiren unleash their ultimate move, but Führer Ugly remains completely unscathed. Their swords are dissolved, it's over, and the incoming attack is impossible to dodge. The old man rushes in with a kick to yeet the two of them away, taking the fatal hit himself. His entire body is dissolved down to white bone. Nichiren is also tagged, and his lower half completely vanishes. Before logging out, he pulls a sword from a pocket dimension and hands it to Atomic Samurai. Legend says the Council of Swordmasters has 2 divine blades, Nichiren and Jeshirin. Any swordsman who can dual wield them will have unbeatable stats. Jeshirin has been lost for ages, but the blade in Atomic Samurai's hand is the Nichiren. After finishing his last words, Old Man Nichiren is dissolved into ashes. On this side, Führer Ugly is crawling on the ground, devouring the dissolved corpses. Black Sperm screams, "What the hell? Don't you dare eat me too!" He barely finishes the sentence before Führer Ugly sprays a load of digestive fluid, deleting all the yapping Black Sperm clones. This protein can buff him infinitely. He's even ready to farm Black Sperm for XP. Black Sperm is absolutely tilted. He's really asking for a death sentence. Countless clones start merging. Führer Ugly looks down on them, thinking a bigger body won't do anything. The next moment, a barrage of punches leaves him completely stunned. He sprays out a bunch of digestive fluid, but it has zero effect. Golden Sperm is merged from 43 trillion Black Sperm clones. An attack like that is a total joke. Before Führer Ugly can even crawl back up, countless energy orbs rain down. The hero faction is shook. What the heck? Why is there a civil war? Führer Ugly still wants to counterattack, but what follows is an even more violent raid. After a rain of bombs, Führer Ugly finally stays quiet. Damn it, I'm quitting, stop bullying the honest guy. At the same time, Super Alloy Darkshine is lying on the ground still suffering because his muscles lost their shiny gloss, but in reality, that last attack didn't even break his defense. Golden Sperm looks down at Super Alloy Darkshine below. For this kind of loser who loses his will to fight over a tiny scratch, he can't even be bothered to look at him, and seeing an opponent with a body even shinier and more buff than his own, Super Alloy Darkshine's mental completely collapses, right as he screams impossible. Golden Sperm eats him with one punch. Super Alloy Darkshine hits the ground unconscious as a storm of energy orbs rains from the sky. With Homeless Emperor and Golden Sperm joining the raid, the hero faction is getting absolutely neg-diffed. And right at this moment, the man dubbed the strongest on Earth finally spawns in. Meanwhile, the battle between Bomb and Garou has entered the climax. The monsterized body combined with the ascension of merging countless techniques makes even this martial arts master feel like it's a hard mode matchup. Another two-fist collision even though both are using Whirlwind Iron Cutting Fist. Bomb is shook to find his own move being parried by the opponent. The attack lands directly, and Bomb hits the ground, but thanks to him buying time, Bang finally arrives just in time. Back in his youth, Bang was so unhinged that even Garou couldn't compare. His peerless talent gave him an ego that looked down on everyone. His massive ambition made him grab all the money, power, and women. Back then, what Bang used wasn't the absolute defense water stream rock smashing fist, but the extremely destructive exploding heart release fist. Wherever he went, if he saw someone strong, he'd force a fight and then abandon all those he defeated. On this point, Garou and him are basically from the same mold. If Bomb hadn't spawned in time to use absolute strength and wake his brother up, Bang would never have grasped the truth of martial arts, stayed on the right path, and become the grandmaster he is today. The current Garou was almost a carbon copy of his younger self. Looking at this guy who doesn't even hesitate to monsterize just to chase power, Bang's heart is breaking. As the master, this time let me save you from this dead-end path. The fated duel officially begins. Garou and Bang explode at the same time. Boom. A terrifying shockwave erupts between them. It's clearly just physical bodies colliding, but it creates a massive sound effect. Bomb is in disbelief that Garou can now go toe-to-toe with Bang while he's going full send. Bang also discovers that his student's talent is truly cracked. With just one glance, he learned the breathing technique that maximizes body strength. In 1 second, the two exchanged hundreds of moves whether attacking or defending. Under such dense techniques, there wasn't a single opening. Bang is the one to break the stalemate first with a kick that yeets Garou away, immediately following up with Godspeed to dash ahead and launch a strike that sends him flying into the air. However, even while getting hit with an aerial combo, Garou managed to regain control of his body. He locked Bang's head with his legs and slammed him hard into the dirt, creating terrifying cracks in the ground. Fatality. But this old man is equally cracked, taking such a massive hit and acting like nothing happened, just scratching his head and brushing off the debris. The battle continues as their speed gets even more insane. Now their silhouettes have completely vanished, and you can only hear the air exploding. After trading blows, the two of them get pushed back by the counterforce. Garou uses his breathing technique to suddenly toggle his combat mode. Wait, this is the exploding heart release fist? How is this possible? I clearly sealed this martial art away. Bang suddenly remembered that before Garou left the dojo, he had tried to steal the sealed secret scroll, but Bang had immediately rushed over to take the book back. Did he really master it after just one glance? With Garou now using the exploding heart release fist, Bang is slowly getting outscaled. Luckily, the opponent's technique isn't perfect yet and is missing the final finisher in its offensive chain. If Bang used the complete exploding heart release fist right now, he could probably neg-diff him instantly. However, even when Garou reveals an opening, he still doesn't use this martial art to end the match. Bang doesn't want to just catch a W, he wants to be like his brother who saved him back in the day and rescue his best student. Exploding heart release fist versus Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist. Extreme destruction against absolute defense. Who's going to be the GOAT? Zip! Bang's entire arm starts gushing fresh blood. Exploding heart release fist lives up to its name. Along with the punch, the heart creates an explosive reaction, triggering terrifying power that breaks the body's limits in a split second. It's completely unpredictable, and Bang is constantly dodging. Immediately after, finding an opening to circle behind him, Garou uses a lock. Bang originally thought that with his monsterized body, he wouldn't be able to use the water stream style, but unexpectedly Garou unleashes a roundhouse kick that sweeps Bang away. His offensive stance shifts again, right hand water stream, left hand whirlwind. Bang and Bomb, the two brothers, scream, this is the whirlwind water stream. This is the ultimate technique that only the two brothers could use together, but now Garou is pulling it off solo. Anything hit by just the shockwave is instantly turned to powder. Bang understands that if he gets tagged even a little, he'll definitely be crushed under this no blind spot shock. But this time, he absolutely cannot back down. The moment Garou reaches the peak of his skill is exactly when the opening appears. My student, wake up. The destruction collides violently, and Bang still gets grazed. Bang gives a bitter smile. It looks like he couldn't fulfill his responsibility as well as his brother did. Bomb screams to his falling brother, and right at this moment, Führer Ugly, who was madly hating on Bang, finally finds him. You rotten old man, let me see what color underwear you're wearing. The King Engine roars, shaking the entire battlefield. One man makes 4 dragon-level monsters tremble. The strongest man on Earth strikes a pose looking down on everyone. Nichiren leaves its sheath as man and blade become one. Atomic Samurai reaches the threshold of ultimate power in a split second. One slash severs the merged arm of 12 trillion black sperm clones. The spawn of Homeless Emperor and Golden Sperm instantly makes the victory scale collapse. The hero faction is getting neg. Diffed completely, Super Ally Darkshine is knocked out unconscious, Tatsumaki is out of mana and can't resist, and Genos has his limbs dismantled and turned into scrap metal. He squeezes out his last bit of strength to use a headbutt and turn a few black sperm clones into mush. Genos originally planned to use his mouth to carry Tatsumaki away but receives endless roasting. Whoa, you actually took out 3 of my clones. Now I only have 54,999,999,999,997 clones left. What a massive loss. At this time, energy orbs rain down like a storm, with every hit strong enough to send an A-class hero to the lobby. For such a terrifying large-scale attack, the initiator, Homeless Emperor, only needs a casual flick of his finger to do it. This infinite power can only make people feel despair. Atomic Samurai wants to draw the Nichiren blade, but if the user isn't fully recognized by the sword, it's impossible to unsheath. And Homeless Emperor over there doesn't seem to plan on playing around anymore, starting to move with lethal intent. At this moment, a silhouette suddenly flashes in Atomic Samurai's mind. If Bang's realm is like flowing water, then he has finally touched a different realm himself. The Nichiren blade leaves its sheath, Atomic Samurai swings once, and 10,000 beams of light tear through the sky. That giant energy orb is sliced into pieces in a split second. Atomic Samurai doesn't stop his movement, breaking through the dense attacks to spawn right in front of Homeless Emperor. Just as Homeless Emperor is about to meet his ancestors, Golden Sperm rushes in to tank the hit for him. By achieving man and blade as one with the Nichiren sword, Atomic Samurai has temporarily touched the peak of power. Golden Sperm even tries to snap the blade, but unexpectedly, his right arm merged from 12 trillion clones is sliced clean off. The moment the blade returns to its sheath, Atomic Samurai suddenly coughs up blood. In just those few short seconds, his life force was almost completely drained dry. Furthermore, evil natural water, who was thought to be turned into dust, suddenly erupts from the underground. It's over. The last hope has vanished into thin air. Golden Sperm slowly walks forward. Time to send you guys on your way. Suddenly, a massive roar echoes across the battlefield. Everyone can't help but turn back. The man dubbed the strongest on Earth has finally arrived. At this moment, everyone in the hero faction breathes a sigh of relief. The vibration of the King Engine is a guaranteed death symbol for regular monsters, but for dragon-level big bros, this pressure acts like a stimulant, completely igniting their will to fight. Of course, against this legendary man, they definitely don't dare to be careless and plan to gang up on him immediately. King stays still, and nobody dares to oppose him. He stares down blankly, and this look actually makes Golden Sperm hesitate a bit below. Homeless Emperor gets extremely serious and plans to test the waters himself first. Immediately, a giant energy orb hundreds of meters wide slowly converges. If facing this man, perhaps only an attack of this scale can take him down. King casually asks what happens if he touches that light orb. Homeless Emperor gives a lecture. Basically, you'll just evaporate. King suddenly screams, haven't you realized it yet? Homeless Emperor's attack abruptly stops. What do you mean? Look at your feet. Hearing that, Homeless Emperor breaks into a cold sweat. The ground is cracked and extremely unstable. It's very dangerous. Homeless Emperor is stunned, and then he starts overthinking. This is a warning. He'll dodge the light orb in a split second and spawn right in front of me. And at that spot, I absolutely cannot dodge his attack. This man can actually stretch those sensitive tentacles to every corner of the battlefield. Truly terrifying. But at least he finally saw the hidden true face of the opponent. Hearing that, King was also confused. True face? Could I have been exposed? Under extreme terror, he even blurted out the truth that he's just a normal person. However, Homeless Emperor was shocked once again. This bastard even saw through the fact that besides his powers, his body is just a regular human's. Damn it, can't let him yap any further. Just as Homeless Emperor prepares to attack regardless of everything, a silhouette suddenly rushes out from the ruins beneath his feet and chokes him out. Turns out it's Zombie Man. After being minced into meat scraps, he's respawned. Homeless Emperor screams at Black Sperm for help, but because of his previous clown behavior, Black Sperm is also panicking. Furthermore, even evil natural water is standing still without moving. Obviously, this guy would attack anyone showing hostility toward him. Could King have seen through and countered even this? Black Sperm suddenly feels like an ant in front of this man. Unforgivable. A sky-high rage erupts as all Black Sperm clones gather up. 11 trillion black sperm plus golden sperm, who was merged from 43 trillion clones of 54 trillion merger. Light from 4 directions illuminates the entire world, leaving only 100 black sperm clones behind as insurance. At this moment, within that body, 54 trillion clones are fighting for their ego. Once the cells combine, they can never be separated. The birth of a completely new life also represents the end of countless lives. The strongest merged body, platinum sperm, spawns. How cracked will a collection of such a terrifying number be? Quantity transforms into quality. The birth of platinum sperm represents his evolution to a different level of existence. However, the hero faction isn't worried about this because that man is still standing there. Child Emperor has even built a battle plan. They will pincer attack from both sides, finding a way to make the monsters stand in a straight line so King can use his ultimate Hellfire Burst Wave Motion Cannon to blow the enemies into dust in one shot. But obviously, King has zero clues what this Wave Motion Cannon nonsense is. Over here, Zombie Man didn't kill Homeless Emperor immediately because he has many things he wants to investigate. Homeless Emperor obviously knows the opponent wants info about God, but the second he opens his mouth to say that word, a silhouette suddenly appears in the sky. On the surface of the moon, a giga-sized humanoid creature slowly stands up. Homeless Emperor's face instantly pales. He knows what that is. It's the one who gifted him his power, but now, it opens its mouth to confiscate all his strength and his life. In just a split second, the invincible dragon-level executive Homeless Emperor has turned into a dried-up corpse. Zombie Man watches all of this in total disbelief. At the same time, the pressure brought by platinum sperm makes the hero's present feel like a massive mountain is crushing them. The stronger the stats, the clearer the feeling, but King's expression still hasn't changed a bit. As for why he hasn't moved yet, Child Emperor suddenly realizes he's waiting for the enemy to reach his peak form before defeating him. Just how much confidence does he have? At this moment, because he had been holding one pose for too long, King's arm went numb and he wanted to move it a little. However, everyone misread this action as him finally preparing to make his move. Everyone started cheering for him, while King painfully turned his head back. Do you guys really want me to die that badly? Zing, zap. The heroes who were still making noise got sent to the lobby by platinum sperm in a split second. I already know you want to 1v1 me perfectly while I'm merged with 54 trillion clones. Just use that whatever god cannon and attack already. But at the same time, I'm going to knock your head off. On another side, just as Führer Ugly was about to kill Bang, Garou, who was in a berserk state, suddenly awakened. Bang's strike had no effect. White-haired Garou looks up at the sky and roars die. As Führer Ugly's body is shredded in a split second, immediately after, Garou turns into a streak of light and keeps rushing forward. At this moment, King is breaking into a cold sweat. Damn it, screw it, ultimate Hellfire Burst Wave Motion stupid cannon. Because he's too hyped, he accidentally bites his tongue. In 1/10,000th of a second, Garou has reached platinum sperm side. In 2/10,000ths of a second, platinum sperm is yeeted by a punch. In 3/10,000ths of a second, evil natural water senses hostility and auto attacks, but Garou knocks it down. In 4/10,000ths of a second, a space-tearing strike is launched. In 5/10,000ths of a second, evil natural water straight up explodes. That terrifying shockwave from the battle looks like King's doing to everyone. Even King is completely buffering. Führer Ugly looks at the massive hole carved into his stomach and even reaches in to touch it. The next moment, he falls to the ground and logs out. The battle ends, and Garou slowly stands up. He looks at the old man with tears still in his eyes, feeling some type of way. Suddenly, a black hole spawns behind him, and the trio who had been missing for ages is finally teleported out. Four eyes lock onto each other, and it looks like a fated battle is about to erupt. Saitama suddenly rushes forward, and a shook Garou immediately gets serious and waits, but unexpectedly, the opponent just zooms right past him. Saitama looks gloomily at the ground. Genos, you turned into scrap metal and got farmed again? You good, bro? Genos recaps everything that happened on the battlefield for Saitama. Over here, Garou has just regained his sanity and is still a bit confused when Flashy Flash suddenly spawns a kick. Die, Monster King. Garou is tilted. The Monster Association can't handle a handsome guy like me? Only now does Flashy Flash realize the opponent is the hero hunter. While the two are yapping, Platinum Sperm interrupts. You losers, sorry, move out of the way a bit, this flexing feels so good. Both of them are arrogant. The finish line is right there, so how could they hold back? All three sides exploded once as the Grand Mosh Pit begins. As a guy with world-class peak speed, Flashy Flash is shook to find out these two aren't even losing to him. Under a speed that defies physics logic, the three turn into streaks of light. Against the contrast of the night, the Z-City sky looks like it's covered in countless geometric beams. No one can believe that such a strange phenomenon is actually the battle afterglow of three monsters. Without the help of his sword, Flashy Flash can only use his physical body to fight. Facing Platinum Sperm, who has already stepped halfway into the semi-god tier, he quickly falls behind. Furthermore, this guy plays dirty, clearly holding the advantage. He still wants to team up with Garou to feed him an L first. Hearing that, Garou gets the vibe and immediately lands a punch right on Platinum Sperm's face. Someone as arrogant as Garou would never take orders from the opponent. He needs even more pressure to evolve. In his heart, Garou feels he is getting closer and closer to completing his martial art. It's not Water Stream Rock Smashing Fist or Exploding Heart Release Fist, but a fusion of all martial arts through battle to create the ultimate weapon, named after a god-level disaster, Monster Calamity God Slayer Fist. No, it's the God Slayer Ascending Monster Fist, capable of even deleting God. The Great War continues, but Flashy Flash's confidence is starting to collapse, facing two terrifying beings who outscale the dragon level. No matter how hard he struggles, he has zero hope of finding a W. In the end, he's just a human. This battlefield is totally not for him. After taking several hits, Flashy Flash slams into the ground and loses consciousness. Next up is the real battle between monsters. Their speed has reached an insane level. In 1/10,000,000 of a second, the dense explosive sounds completely vanish. The night sky is painted with a picture even more vivid than before. Garou's body speed even keeps up with his neurotransmitter transmission speed. One punch lands, slamming Platinum Sperm hard into the ground. He crawls up from the ruins, planning to keep attacking. Garou zooms past. I'll yield a little too. The ultimate perfect being born from 54 trillion black sperm dies deep underground. The divine shrine that was supposed to be buried deep in the earth sees some terrifying existence starting to awaken. The ground rumbles and shakes. The giant spear Tatsumaki condensed is pushed up. Beneath it, a terrifying figure slowly appears. The incarnation of the earth, Sage Centipede, has spawned. I shall deliver heaven's punishment on behalf of God and destroy you tiny ants. At the same time, in her daze, Tatsumaki seems to see Blast's silhouette. The opponent says he can grant her infinite power. If she just accepts, she can escape her current pathetic state and easily delete any enemy. At the critical moment, those core words suddenly flash in Tatsumaki's mind. She coldly opens her mouth. Who are you? The figure in front of her is absolutely not Blast. With just one sound, the weird person vanishes. Right at this moment, the real Blast appears, his eyes full of trust. This child's will has matured enough to resist any temptation. Blast hands Tatsumaki over to King and heads back. He has other teammates who need backup. On another side, the raid has started. How could Garou's God Slayer fist be scared of some dog water god? Sage Centipede is getting shredded midair. Garou glances at Terrio, who is about to escape in the distance, and breathes a sigh of relief. However, Sage Centipede catches this detail and threatens Garou. If he dares to move, he'll let his teammates delete that ant. Right after saying that, he launches a sneak attack with his Centipede army. At the same time, Evil Ocean Water fires a sea cannon. Garou takes a direct hit and is critically injured as Sage Centipede laughs arrogantly. Suddenly, he spots a silhouette zooming in from the ocean surface. Turns out it's an ugly bald guy running at god speed. After all this time, Saitama finally uses his ultimate for the first time, the serious punch. Why use a dragon-slaying sword to kill a chicken? Evil Ocean Water basically died in the right spot as the entire ocean literally cracks open. Saitama wobbles left and right, enjoying the surfing vibes. Sage Centipede is in total disbelief watching this. His powerful teammate just logged out like that? Before he can even process the shock, Garou rushes in again. Also on the team is S-Class rank 16 hero Metal Bat, who is basically doing zero damage. This move was already hard mode against Elder Centipede, let alone its ancestor. Metal Bat gets yeeted, and as he falls, he just happens to run into Garou rushing in. These two already threw hands before, so it's a bad blood reunion. Metal Bat is ready to fight immediately, but Garou isn't wasting time with him. He has more important things to do. Seeing Sage Centipede about to wreck the plane carrying Terrio, Metal Bat rushes up to block the attack. Right after, Garou flies in and screams at the pilot inside, beat it, fast. Then a flying kick lands on Sage Centipede below, and the two of them fall to the ground together. This obvious rescue mission makes Metal Bat a bit confused. How did this bastard become more lawfully good after monsterizing than when he was human? Garou arrogantly says he just wants these people to report his reign of terror to the whole world. Now they have to buy time for that rescue helicopter to escape. Metal Bat rushes up. Who do you think you are, trying to boss me around? These two frenemies don't even care about the situation and just start a verbal war until Sage Centipede interrupts them, making them attack subconsciously. At the same time, Garou's wish comes true. His terrifying and fierce look is being broadcast by the TV station for the whole world to see. However, whether it's a seasoned martial arts master or a literal child, no one seems to sense any actual killing intent from him. Over here, Metal Bat uses his wild swing while Garou uses his whirlwind water stream, simultaneously attacking Sage Centipede. Garou's attacks cause damage, but the opponent's size is 2 giga, plus he has that cracked super regeneration, making it completely useless. As for Metal Bat, he can't even create a single crack. Garou can't help but start roasting this trash tier teammate. The roasting starts again. If they want to beat Sage Centipede, the only way is to crush him from head to tail at the same time. But how could the opponent ever give them that opening? The ultimate is unleashed, and that terrifying destructive power grinds the entire ground to dust. Metal Bat risks his life to resist, and Garou, with his cracked physical defense, tanks the hit. But right after comes the blood-filled maw of Sage Centipede. Suddenly, a voice echoes wild tornado fighting spirit. Sage Centipede's tentacle is smashed to pieces by a bat. Metal Bat is heavily injured, but his build literally converts damage into even greater strength. No more holding back. The next hit is the finisher. Sage Centipede transforms into a spiral spear strong enough to pierce the earth. Garou and Metal Bat also unleash their strongest ultimates. At this moment, the dragon-slaying monster Cleavage Fist and the ultimate tornado merge in an unbelievable way. Even though the two had zero intention of cooperating and their power levels have a massive gap, their traits are strangely similar. Thus, they accidentally trigger a combo move under mutual resonance and amplification. Thanks to this merged move, Metal Bat's destructive power skyrockets in just a few seconds. Sage Centipede's sky-covering exoskeleton is completely crushed by him. Similarly, due to the resonance, Garou's power stats also peak once again. A punch lands, and a giga-sized hole appears in Sage Centipede's body. Immediately after, he's shook to find out the wound won't regenerate. Garou holds up a chunk of meat. This must be the regeneration core. He's seen something similar before. Sage Centipede goes full tilt. Give it back to me. Garou smirks. You want it? Go fetch then. The regeneration core is yeeted into the unknown by terrifying strength. To get his life core back, Sage Centipede pierces through the clouds. Garou dashes straight up along his body the moment the life core returns is also the moment Sage Centipede's end arrives. The extreme hype makes him fail to notice that the tiny human has already spawned above him. A heavy stomp creates an explosion. Can you just die already? The moment the attack is about to land, Garou suddenly remembers the old man teaching him how to break tiles. Back then, with a smug face, he volunteered first, but then his hand got wrecked by those custom-made tiles. How could anyone break these? On the other side, Garou had already stacked the tiles. Boom! The tiles shattered completely. Garou looks smugly at his master, Bang, who smiles gently. Too bad there was one last tile left, but that was the beginning of everything, and at this exact moment, Garou has broken through to the original realm where all techniques become one, the peak of martial arts. A massive explosion makes everyone instinctively look up at the terrifying scene in the sky. Sage Centipede's scary, sky-covering body is being sliced in half by a human. Is this divine punishment? No, it's not. This is my blessing. My fist is now perfected. I smashed them all this time, old man, so open your eyes and watch. At the same time, on another side, to save Tank Top Master who got fed to death, Pig God gets drained dry and instantly turns into a pretty boy, and Sweet Mask, who was previously ripped in half by Führer Ugly, is now pulling up his pants and appearing on the battlefield unscathed. He picks up Pig God's coat to wrap around his python, and just as he's about to tell him to head back together, he finds the guy devouring gums on the ground. The energy drain was too much. Pig God says he needs to restock fast. Sweet Mask's face darkens, feeling like this guy is even more disgusting than the monsters. Seeing that the opponent would take a while to finish, he decided to stay one step ahead on the way. He carried the unconscious metal bat on his back and kept moving. Suddenly, Sweet Mask sensed something sus up ahead. The damn monster wanted to take advantage of Flashy Flash being unconscious to delete him. In reality, Monaco was just worried about the Bang's auntie and trying to wake him up so they could dip from there. When he turned his head, die, monster. Just as Monaco was about to meet his ancestors, a giga-sized object happened to block the attack. What the hell? It's an aircraft carrier. The massive collision left both sides completely wrecked. At the same time, King looked at the aircraft carrier zooming straight at him and almost peed his pants. At his feet was a bunch of wounded heroes. A respectful voice echoed from behind it was Fubuki's new squad along with the rescued Tank Top Master. King looked at the fat guy carrying two old men and was totally confused. Who was this guy? The aircraft carrier was getting closer in a critical moment. Tank Top Master planned to eat everyone away, but this would definitely make them end up even more bruised. Right then, King spotted Saitama on the deck, so what was there to fear? He immediately ordered Tank Top Master to stop and told everyone to just wait there. Saitama ran across the deck, then with a twist, the entire ship did a drift and braked hard sideways. Immediately after, Saitama stomped down, and the aircraft carrier was snapped in half, finally coming to a halt. Suddenly, Sage Centipede's corpse fell, and a sky-high tsunami crashed in. Everyone was terrified. Lucky they didn't get yeeted earlier or it would have been over, but now they were about to get submerged and had to run fast. On the giant corpse, a chubby silhouette flew by. Pig God had recovered, and with one mouth, he swallowed everyone to tank the ocean waves for them. Under the gloomy sky, Garou was still searching for evil ocean water's silhouette to finish him off. At this moment, a figure fell straight down from above. It was Saitama. He stared at the humanoid creature in front of him and casually opened his mouth. Excuse me, but what the hell are you? Saitama's sudden spawn made Garou think this was just some low-tier hero coming for backup, so he didn't care and waved his hand, telling him to go home to his mama because he was preparing to purge the Hero Association. Even though Garou claimed to be a monster, Saitama had seen with his own eyes that the guy saved the helicopter from Sage Centipede, so he didn't view him as an enemy. He turned to leave. Damn it, I was sleeping well at home when suddenly my house got deleted, and now I have to go everywhere picking up my stuff. Saitama was about to explode, and this terrifying aura gave Garou a real scare. Wait, who is this guy? I feel like I've seen him somewhere, and this main character energy is really annoying. Whatever, let's just throw hands first. Boom. Garou was yeeted by one punch. Saitama apologized for his unconscious attack. At this exact moment, all the memories came flooding back. Garou finally remembered everything. He had clashed with this super strong bald guy multiple times only to get one-tapped in a split second. I actually forgot this high-priority target. Unforgivable. A sky-high pressure descended as the ultimate battle began. Between every move of the two, violent explosions echoed. Garou flew forward with a downward slash that slammed Saitama into the ground. As rubble flew up, Garou used it as a springboard, turning into a streak of light to rush at Saitama below, with his long-suppressed rage completely exploding. The God Slayer Ascending Monster Fist, the ultimate technique that sliced Sage Centipede in half, strikes down, die. The terrifying power peaks, turning into a berserk force that devours everything in its path. The attack that was supposed to be world-ending is now totally useless. I can't even cut him down? Damn it, what even is this bald guy? Saitama pushes back, a shattering sound echoes, and Garou's arm snaps. Saitama looks bored at this guy who suddenly started beefing. Rapid regeneration kicks and Garou lands a punch, but he's easily parried, his body flying away and dragging a massive tidal wave behind it. The entire ground is carved with a deep trench. Garou crawls out of the ruins, his eyes full of terror. Why is this bald guy so cracked? Is his dream finally about to come true, or is he going to catch an L here? At this moment, Garou's body responds to his frustration and rage, triggering a violent mutation. Infinite power gushes from within. Terrio, you ran like crazy to get here, and seeing Garou's terrifying form, you can't help but feel a bit shook. But this time you aren't running away. Garou stares at the kid below and casually opens his mouth. You're still alive? Having saved him so many times, Garou is the real hero in Terrio's heart. No matter what he turns into, this man is handsomer than any other hero, so Terrio begs Garou to stop faking being a monster. He doesn't want his hero to be misunderstood anymore. But Garou has his own ideals. Everything he's done so far is both for revenge and protection. Using the coldest words, Garou tells Terrio he's going to destroy his worldviews, delete all heroes, and rule the world with absolute evil. Then, he'll put an end to all the unfairness that once made them both cry. Saitama walks up to Garou, constantly taunting him. Come on, hit me. Looking at this annoying face, Garou gets tilted and lands a punch, but Saitama just wobbles a bit, completely unscathed. He slaps Garou away and asks Terrio, you want me to stop him, right? Terrio nods repeatedly. Saitama steps forward. Alright, leave it to me. Along with Garou's evolutionary burst, the battle level is raised to a new peak. The full monsterization fueled by rage grants Garou enough strength to crush the earth. Combined with the ultimate weapon developed from his God Slayer fist, the two merge. Now Garou has reached the realm of God slaying and Buddha deleting, unbeatable under the sky. Even if the opponent can rely on reaction speed and a trippy explosive power to block the combo, without cellular ascension, how could he be a match? Divine killing intent. Saitama is yeeted by a kick, slamming into a building. The first building is uprooted by the massive shockwave and smashed backward. Boom! Garou stomps the ground and rushes forward, terrifying power constantly converging in his hands. 3 buildings are deformed in a split second by this one strike and then violently explode. No matter how much the body is trained, getting hit by this internal force would turn internal organs into minced meat. However, Saitama is still perfectly fine. Garou screams impossible as lava splashes everywhere on the volcano. To adapt to the fight with Saitama, Garou's body mutates again. Now he looks like a demon king returned from purgatory. Those 4 arms make his attack speed and frequency absolutely explode. Saitama is punched down into the volcano's mouth. It's not over yet. Super God Slayer Ascending Monster Fist. The shockwave created by Garou's clasped hands even ionizes the atmosphere into a plasma storm. The mountain shatters, but that man still isn't dead. His body is harder than the mountain itself. Garou's form becomes increasingly hideous as countless heavy punches rain down like a storm, but Saitama seems to be just playing around, casually dodging all the attacks like they're nothing. He even uses just one hand to block the combo from Garou's 4 arms. Disrespect pure, peak disrespect. Berserk power convergences in his 2 back arms and explodes as Garou dives from the sky. Saitama is pinned straight into the volcano's mouth, and the final ultimate is about to be unleashed. The volcano collapses, and the force of this hit literally pierces through the entire earth. Even the space lock is shattered. But why is this bald guy still not dead? Saitama looks up coldly. Consecutive normal punches. Garou is punched from the underground all the way into the air. At this moment, he's in despair. How the hell do you even beat this bastard? A punch lands, and the mountains and rivers shatter. Garou lies on the ground, and in his eyes, Saitama's silhouette merges with the unfair memories of his past. He absolutely cannot stop here. He absolutely cannot catch an L. But with that simple, unflashy normal punch, the demon armor on Garou's body shatters like falling meteors. Is it all over? Under the sky, a supreme voice suddenly echoes. A spiral cloud appears out of thin air, and along with the lightning, a terrifying giant god steps down from the clouds. Everyone watches this doomsday scene in horror as Garou, who has completely lost his power, floats in front. In his heart, he seems to hear a very familiar voice. Your wish is unfulfilled, and you're feeling salty, right? What do you think? What is the only power that can rival a god? Power. No master would quietly watch their student fail. Come here, let me help you. Garou opens his eyes. In front of him is Master Bang. He instinctively reaches out. The path to godhood has finally arrived. At this moment, the sky goes pitch black, and a figure suddenly falls down. It's Garou. He seems to have returned to normal. Wait, no. Saitama squints to look closer. Garou's body has now turned into a literal galaxy. Power that can rival a god is, of course, a god's power. If that's the case, then I'll just become a god. Cosmic Fear. Garou, the god's ultimate invincible warrior, merges the power of the universe into himself. Thousands of martial arts secrets are refined into a chaos core. The absolute strength of a living being is fully born. One man shocks all the heroes and monsters. One punch. The strongest battle has arrived. The water stream rock smashing fist is about understanding the flow of power in water and waves to manifest the great way. Current form. Garou directly understands the power fluctuations of everything in the universe, and the miracle born from that is the absolute strength of a living being. Just the wind from his fist makes the earth shake like hundreds of nukes going off at once. Terrifying energy sweeps across the world in a split second. Far away, Psychos, who escaped from Tatsumaki, watches this scene in total disbelief. The light orbs are identical to homeless emperors. Is it the power of a god? But why is it this giga-sized? Countless mushroom clouds rise into the sky. Since Boros, Saitama's clothes are finally shredded, Garou approaches. He now feels absolutely main character invincible. One touch could be a fatality. In martial arts, there's a technique that borrows nature's power by mimicking creatures of forbidden art, and now Garou has switched the target to Saitama. Saitama is shook. What the hell is this simple face? A storm of consecutive normal punches rains down. Saitama responds. This is the first time someone has been able to parry his attacks. 2 fists collide, carrying a destructive killing intent that could delete all life. Saitama is hit by a punch and slammed into the sea. Garou laughs out loud. It's the first time he's met someone who can go toe-to-toe with him. You're confused now, aren't you? But soon I'll perfect the copy and completely outscale you. Tiny lightning bolts constantly explode on Garou. Godly miracle bomb, the absolute power of a living being, gamma ray burst. This terrifying explosion only happens when giant stars die, but now it's merged into one of Garou's punches. At this moment, night turns into day, some people instinctively start having nosebleeds, and even their hair starts falling out. The gamma rays are causing irreversible nerfs to the human body. Suddenly, a figure falls from the sky. Garou, in a final boss pose, looks down at the ants below. At that moment, everyone present reaches a consensus that massive energy source is this monster. Under that pressure, they don't even plan to run. The symbol of absolute evil makes all the heroes feel despair. Garou finally did it. Bang painfully crawls forward. He can't believe it. He clearly felt earlier that his student had returned to normal. But now what happened? What did God do to his student? Garou denies it. The moment God reached out, he rejected him. Garou didn't believe the old man would ever make such a good offer, but even though he didn't grab the hand, he still grazed it slightly. That tiny touch was enough for God to grant Garou power and turn him into his avatar. However, Garou is way too arrogant, even if the opponent is God. So what? He already wanted to delete God anyway. Garou forced himself out of God's control. He's taking this power, and by combining it with the water stream rock smashing secrets the old man taught him, he fully merged it in a split second. His next actions are driven entirely by his own will. The purge of absolute evil begins. Just as he's about to carry out the absolute evil and purge everyone, a space rift suddenly opens. S-Class rank 1 Hero Blast finally spawns in. Garou is now basically the icon of death. Just by standing there, the cosmic radiation emitting from his body has already caused countless people to lose their lives. If they want to fight, they have to move him out of this dimension, otherwise, the consequences will be unimaginable. However, Garou doesn't seem to have that intention. To avenge himself and Terrio against this world, he wants to end everything here and then leave Terrio for good. But he doesn't know that his mere existence has already nerfed the boy to death. Suddenly, a massive scream echoes from afar. A limbless Genos charges straight at Garou. Even though he has radiation resistance, this move is basically a suicide mission. Seeing Genos about to be deleted, Blast can't just stand by and immediately attacks. Garou jumps to dodge, but this isn't an energy blast, it's forced space teleportation. Blast punches directly forward, and the massive strength eats Garou away. Before Garou can regain control of his body, another black hole spawns in front of him and sucks him in. The space chaos combined with Blast's constant attacks leaves Garou with zero counterplay for a moment. Next, I'll just teleport the opponent out. Just when it seemed the battle was over, Blast's face pales. Garou breaks out of the dimension on his own. He has mastered Blast's abilities, nuclear fission, gravity, plus Saitama mode, its constant destruction. You should know that before. This, just one hit was equal to hundreds of nukes exploding. If hit by these evolved attacks tens of thousands of times, no living being besides God could escape death. Blast uses space teleportation to move all the attacks into the sky. However, because the energy load is too cracked, the portal reaches its limit and gets blown out. Just like that, the entire Earth will turn into a dead planet. The only option is to teleport everyone else away. Blast's abilities are truly hard mode. Garou understands that even he can't beat him right now, but that bald guy still hasn't gone full send. As long as he can copy his real strength, he can definitely win against Blast. So, to force him to go full send, die. The scrap metal cyborg Genos is pierced by one punch. At this moment, a rain of oil falls from the sky. Saitama stands there stunned as the bright red rain flows down his face, which is suppressed to the absolute limit. Blast screams, "Don't come here." As if mocking him, Garou casually says, "You're late," then throws the object in his hand forward. Saitama catches it. It's Genos' core. Without it, Genos is officially logged out for real this time. Old memories keep flashing in his head. Do you always walk to the scene? Yeah, but usually I'm too late to save anyone. This time, he was too late again. Looking at the familiar faces lying on the ground, seemingly having lost their breath, Saitama clenches his fist. The smile has completely vanished from his face. Serious mode, serious punch. Go to hell with them. Garou has been waiting for this exact moment. Saitama mode copy serious punch. Blast is terrified. This power is too cracked. The Earth is going to shatter. At the last second, he puts everything into teleporting the two into outer space, but the energy is so massive the portal can't even handle it. Furthermore, he can't pull them far enough away. It's totally useless. Right then, Blast's teammates spawn in, gathering everyone's power to force a change in the explosion's angle. The energy, like a supernova burst, rushes straight toward Earth. At the point where the two fists collide, 3D space collapses into a single point. In the end, Earth still couldn't be saved. At the same time, hit by the counterforce, the two of them slam straight into Jupiter's moon. As the dust clears, Garou slowly stands up, and above him, Saitama looks down like a cold-blooded king. Then the battle continues. Garou smirks, "Bye-bye," and tries to teleport directly to another dimension. However, Saitama literally kicks the space portal away. Garou's inner thoughts are screaming, "Can you even touch this thing?" Before he can process it, Saitama lands a punch. Even though he wants to use space portals for instant attacks, the opponent can catch the portals with his bare hands. Garou, inside the portal, actually becomes the one being passive and gets yeeted by another punch. Saitama opens his mouth. "Stop with the tricks. Is your so-called ultimate martial arts only at this level?" Garou goes full tilt. "Fine then, feel it for yourself." Garou transforms into a demon god, dancing through the universe, space-tearing fist, water stream, rock-smashing fist, exploding heart release, nuclear fission, gravity fist. The whirlwind literally tears space apart, and 1/10 of the moon is blown up. Garou's martial arts are now like an absolute law that's impossible to dodge. Saitama says, I can do that too. Serious mode, serious table flip. The moon is completely shattered. Gravity goes chaotic, and Garou is flying all over the place, completely losing his sense of direction. Meanwhile, Saitama turns into a streak of light and keeps raiding him. Because the speed is so insane, tens of thousands of afterimages seem to turn into real entities. Serious punch, omnidirectional. Garou wants to use space teleportation to escape, but Saitama, out of nowhere, has already crossed through space to keep up. Inside the shattered moon, two streaks of light constantly intersect. Countless meteors are turned into dust and scattered. In 1/100,000 of a second, they complete trillions of offensive and defensive moves. This is total, peak strength. Impossible to look at directly, impossible to defeat. If that's the case, Garou abandons everything from before. From this moment on, he'll copy every single one of Saitama's attacks from start to finish. Garou's entire body is wrapped in dark matter. Every hit drags a boiling gravitational pull. Saitama kicks through the void, serious mode space tier. But gradually, Garou realizes something is sus. He's clearly using the same amount of strength to deal with the opponent, but the next hit he gets back is even stronger. At this rate, sooner or later, one punch will definitely kill him. The power of both is constantly rising, and their growth curves are both exponential. Once it passes a certain point, a massive explosion occurs. This is why their power is so trippy. Besides the two of them, nobody can even see it. However, Saitama's power level is way higher than Garou's. Initially, the gap wasn't that big and Garou could still see it clearly, but now he has completely lost the chance to observe the opponent's brokenness on the same level. From that point on, nobody can measure how high Saitama's power has reached. In the battle with Garou, Saitama's strength exploded without limits, completely surpassing all logic. Just one sneeze blew away the surface of Jupiter, which is over 1,000 times larger than Earth. This time, Garou Koikung finally felt real terror. Because of the previous hype, the two had lost the ability to locate Earth. But right then, Garou suddenly spotted that familiar planet. Since that's the case, there was no need to linger. He landed a punch that sent Saitama flying toward the sun. Right after, he quickly used a space portal to teleport himself back to Earth's sky. However, before Garou could even smirk, that annoying bald head was already standing right behind him. Damn it, how did you even do that? Turns out because his clothes were blown off, Saitama's stomach got cold, so he ripped a fart and used the thrust to catch up. Garou's worldview completely collapsed, and welcoming him was a fist as big as that bald head. The ground shook as a giant mushroom cloud rose. Saitama didn't kill Garou because he had promised that kid. Garou slowly turned his head and his face instantly pale. Terrio was dead. Like a pathetic insect who lost everything, he stumbled forward. For Garou, everyone in this world could die, but Terrio alone couldn't. That was the only soft spot in his heart. But now, this child was destroyed by his own hands. Saitama casually opened his mouth. What are you planning to do next? Garou bowed his head, seemingly losing all his energy. He made a request to Saitama, copy my next move. If it's this man, even without the power gifted by God, he should be able to grasp divine power. Just as Saitama started to mimic him, a massive scream suddenly echoed from the sky. Shut up. I will confiscate your power. God went full rage mode, just like with Homeless Emperor before. The consequence of having power revoked is death. Garou's body had already started gradually turning into stone. He didn't care and told Saitama to focus immediately. Hearing that, Saitama actually got serious for once. The two began to imagine the universe inside their bodies, creating particles and antiparticles. Due to the intense cosmic radiation Garou released, all the elementary particles in Saitama's body began to mimic, and finally, he succeeded. Garou screamed, "Come and beat me. Change this dark future." Right after saying those words, he turned into ashes. Saitama began to reverse time. Garou said to beat him at the moment he first obtained divine power and was preparing to carry out absolute evil. Beating him then would change the future. The fist of causality struck down, and time completely reversed. This isn't some holy relic, it's decided by a single punch. The power inside Garou's body began to vanish. The Saitama from the future was pulled back by a force. The Saitama from the past, who had been hit by the gamma ray burst, was also pulled out. The two merged into one, and the memories vanished along with it. At this moment, he stared blankly at the life core in his hand, then looked down at his crotch where his private parts were exposed. Saitama was shocked. Genos launches a headbutt, and since this object looks exactly like his core, he tries to plug it into his head to see if it boots up. At that exact moment, the memories buried in the core that traveled through time with Saitama flood into Genos' head. Saitama asks what's inside, so Genos gives a brief explanation, but obviously, this bald guy's smooth brain can't process it at all. It seems he himself has lost that segment of memory. Now, in the entire universe, only Genos knows that Saitama traveled back in time to save the world. Far away, Terrio was woken up by a loud scream, and there, the Garou from another dimension is looking at him gently. I finally saved you. Terrio runs over like crazy, but only finds a pile of empty ruins. On another side, a bunch of heroes see that Garou has lost his power and immediately start crash-out behavior, punching and kicking him. As for the disappearance of the divine power, it was likely caused by the influence of his future self. Garou doesn't understand it, but he calmly accepts it. In an unbelievable way, Zombie Man stops everyone because he still has questions. He doesn't believe a human could gain such massive power just through monsterization. God must have been involved. Garou smirks. He completely looks down on that dog water god. Furthermore, the power Garou has at this stage truly was gained by his own grind. Tired of the yapping, he tells these fake heroes to just kill him already, right as Sweet Mask is about to finish him. Terrio blocks him. Terrio doesn't understand. Clearly these people are heroes, so why do they want to kill the big bro who saved him so many times? No matter how much he begs, his words can't stop the mob until the king engine roars and that man appears. Everyone finally backs off. Saitama also arrives and tells the truth about how Garou saved Genos, expressing his gratitude and finally clearing the beef in his heart. After hearing that, Garou gives up on his death wish and disappears from the spot with a boom. The Great War has finally ended for real. As the sun sets, Saitama carries Genos, thinking about having Dr. Casino fix his limbs and then going to find where their stuff went. Thanks for watching this One Punch Man anime recap video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe to help the channel stay motivated to make more fire content. Thank you.